more than 6,000 COVID cases in a single day, its highest record so far. 1 in 3 hospitals are at capacity or approaching it. The Northeast Georgia Health System in Hall County has so many COVID patients, they're having to set up hospital beds in a nearby gym to handle the overflow. An FDA advisory panel votes 17-4 to recommend emergency authorization of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for people over the age of 16. 2 of the 4 dissenting votes were over a lack of data on the vaccine's impact on 16 and 17-year-olds. Ultimately, the committee decided that the benefits outweighed the risks. Now, the CDC votes on whether to recommend the vaccine. Moderna faces the same FDA process next week, as it's looking for teenagers between the ages of 12 and 17. They want to sign them up for clinical trials. In a statement, Moderna's CEO says they hope to have enough evidence to support vaccinating this age group before school starts next year. CVS and Walgreens hire thousands of healthcare workers to help inoculate those in long-term care facilities nationwide. In an email to customers, the companies say they're looking for qualified pharmacists, nurses, and pharmacy technicians. The Atlanta City Council announces its committee chairs and appointments for 2021. If you'd like to see the list, visit our website at citycouncil.atlantagA.gov. That's citycouncil.atlantagA.gov. Well, here's a new word for your vocabulary: shipageddon. It's the delay in your holiday gift delivery due to an increase in online shopping and shipments of coronavirus vaccines. Officials from FedEx and UPS say they're working to address the challenge, but add the best way to ensure your packages arrive on time is to ship them early. That's a wrap. We'll see you on the next edition of Stay at Home Connect. The Atlanta City Council approves the City of Atlanta's 2021 legislative package, a rundown of proposals and policies to convey the city's legislative and budget priorities to the Georgia General Assembly during the 2021 legislative session. Among the items, the City of Atlanta's opposition to any legislation or action seeking to change ownership, operations, and governance of Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, including any entity that would provide oversight responsibilities for governance and/or operations. The council says yes to an ordinance amending the city's Code of Ordinances to set up regulations for establishments wanting to operate outdoor dining areas on the street in the public right-of-way. Those establishments would need to apply to the City of Atlanta's Department of Transportation for a temporary permit through 2021. The council greenlights an ordinance authorizing the city's chief financial officer to make transfers within the coronavirus relief funds provided to the city from the CARES Act to cover costs incurred due to COVID-19 public health-related efforts. Legislation is filed authorizing an agreement with Agape Tennis Academy for the management, maintenance, and performance of capital improvements at the city's 5 tennis centers. For more recently approved legislation, please visit our website, citycouncil.atlantagA.gov. This has been your Atlanta City Council Legislative Minute.
Hello, this is Atlanta Council Member Cleta Winslow. This year we have all been through tough times dealing with COVID-19, but we still have many things to be thankful for. As you gather with your friends and family, remember to stay safe and to mask up. Merry Christmas.
Atlanta City Council Member Marcy Collier Overstreet, wishing you and your family happy holidays and a safe and healthy new year.
Hi, I'm Councilmember JP Matzakite, and from our family to your family, I want to wish you a happy holiday season and a wonderful new year.
I'm Phyllis Jackson. Welcome to Stay at Home Connect. President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, tests positive for coronavirus. Medical experts say he could have exposed hundreds of people to the virus while in Atlanta during a recent state Senate hearing at the Capitol. Governor Brian Kemp and Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan issue a joint statement saying they will not violate state law for a special session of the General Assembly to name presidential electors and overturn Joe Biden's election win. The Trump campaign made the request. The statement says the move, quote, is not an option allowed under state or federal law. If you're dealing with student loan debt, you have a little more time. The federal student loan payments have been suspended through the end of January. The holiday season brings out the kindness and generosity of so many. But Georgia's Secretary of State warns it could also bring out the worst in those hoping to take advantage. Brad Raffensperger issues a video message explaining how to avoid getting scammed and how to make donations safely.
Never, 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 never give your personal financial information over the phone. Donate by credit card or mail a check directly to the charity. Do not give your debit card or bank account information to a phone solicitor. Never make payments to individuals.
Officials say you should know exactly where your donation is going and make sure it's really being given to help those in need. And it's okay to ask just how much of the donation will go to the cause itself. To report a scam or fraudulent activity, send an email to charities@sos.ga.gov or call 570-312-2640. That's 570-312-2640. The Elsevier Journal publishes an article highlighting government communication through social media during a pandemic. The city of Atlanta, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco were featured, in addition to the way in which they disseminated vital COVID-19 information through its Twitter platforms. In April, the publication collected 10 days' worth of data from the city's Twitter accounts and found that the city of Atlanta's response illustrates a whole-of-government approach to the pandemic. The goal is to provide insight for local government officials and to help accelerate understanding of how these entities and the public handle emergencies, including a crisis involving public health. Atlanta City Council member Marcy Collier Overstreet takes part in a groundbreaking for the Truist Young family at Promise Center.
We want to make sure that every youth knows that they're supported by the city, that the APD and the foundation, the Atlanta Police Foundation, supports them and is rooting for them. And that's what the At Promise Center is all about. It is tailored, individualized programming per youth. And these youth are usually at risk, but not here. They're at Promise.
That's a wrap on Stay at Home Connect. We'll see you next time.
okay?
What's going on today?
Today we're in West End at the Goodwill, and I'm one of the people that are being honored as an unsung hero.
Cleta is my girl. Cleta is one of the hardest working council members in the city.
Cleta's been providing leadership on council since I was in kindergarten.
Talk to that girl right now. What would you say? What would you say to her?
You mean from back then?
Just talk to her. Just talk to her.
Wow, you come a long way. And you're not done yet. You still got many miles to go.
Did she believe she would get on a wall?
No.
She didn't do it for the wall, did she?
It's very special to be honored. Somebody wanted my photograph a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't send it. I said, I don't need to be honored. So I didn't think any more about it until somebody sent me the mural, a picture of the mural. So I thought they were playing a joke on me, so I had to come over and see it. So it's a privilege. Tennessee State University and Clark Atlanta University School of Social Work helped to make me. But God has led me to this place, and I'm very grateful.
Job well done, madam.
Very good.
Job well done. Job well done.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank Trees Atlanta and their partners who have come out this morning in East Atlanta. We're quite near the village, and this is a very established community with a lot of old growth trees, but we need to replace trees and we need to increase our tree canopy. And so what's happening today through Plant Atlanta is an opportunity for the tree canopy to increase in this area. We're planting trees in the public right-of-way, and I'm so happy that Trees Atlanta is not only going to educate neighbors on the proper way to plant trees and to take care of trees, but they're going to come back and continue to maintain them until they're strong enough for nature and for neighborhood volunteers to take over.
Yeah, I'm out here with residents of Ponce Highland along with good folks at Trees Atlanta, planting trees here in the neighborhood, but also we're doing this all over the city, which is important to our tree canopy and continue to make our neighborhoods shady and lovely. So we're planting, I don't know, probably 50, 60 trees in a couple streets here, and it's great to see so many people out engaged in the neighborhood. I've been telling the folks out here today that they're poets, because one of my favorite quotes about trees is from the poet Khalil Gibran, who said, trees are the poems that the earth writes upon the sky. And so everyone today is planting a tree that will one day be a backdrop on the sky when we look up. And so we're all a little bit doing our role to be poets today in Ponce Highland and across the city.
We were surprised by the rain, I will tell you that. So we don't have to add the water because Mother Nature provided the water for us today. It's raining and it's fine because trees love rain. So today, Council District 11, which is myself and our entire team, we're here planting 40 trees at Greenbrier Mill. And that's in partnership with Trees Atlanta. And the reason is because Atlanta is known as the city in the forest. And my district, District 11, has the second most beautiful canopy, the largest canopy in the city of Atlanta. So we want to preserve that. We want to make sure that every opportunity that we get, we are planting more trees and we're taking care of the ones that we already have. So that's what we're doing today. And the community has joined us. They registered and they joined us. And
this is the December 15th, 2020 meeting. Mr. Jared Evans, would you please conduct all?
Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Andrea L. Boone.
Present.
Councilmember Dustin Hillis. Here. Councilmember J.P. Matzakite. Councilmember Joyce Shepard.
Present.
Councilmember Howard Schultz.
Aye.
Councilmember Cleta Winslow.
Present.
All members are present.
All right, thank you very much. With that, we have a quorum, and I will call this meeting to order. Next, I will have Mr. Evans read the remote meeting statement.
This City Utilities Committee is being conducted remotely as advertised and in accordance with OCGA 50-14-1. The meeting will be conducted in conformance with Robert's Rules of Order and the Rules of Council as authorized by the City Code. The public may access the meeting by dialing 877-579-6743, conference ID 831-599-1256, which was noted on the Friday, December 11th public meeting notice. The public may also view the meeting on Channel 26, the Council's homepage at citycouncil.atlantag.gov, the Council's YouTube channel, or the Council's Facebook and Twitter pages via @ATL Council. All presentations are available on the Atlanta City Council City Utilities Committee presentation page. The agenda was published and made available Friday, December 11th via atlantacitga.iqm2.com. Additionally, the public was able to submit comments via voicemail at 404-330-6057 between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. the day before this meeting. These comments will be played during the public comment portion of the meeting. All persons present on the remote council meeting conference bridge are requested to mute your phones and speakers. Speakers must be acknowledged by the presiding officer prior to speaking. Each council member is requested to open your Outlook email and minimize the screen. Amendments, substitutes, and informational documents have been distributed to committee members beforehand. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation.
All right, thank you. Do we have any walk-in papers to consider?
There are no walk-in papers.
All right, thank you. With that, I'll consider a motion for the adoption of the agenda.
Motion by Matzakite.
Thank you. Thank you. Properly moved and second. Second. Yes. Was someone trying to speak?
Madam Chair, this is Councilmember Matzakite. I came in just a minute late and wanted to make sure that you knew I was here and made the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone need to do a voice vote? Yes, Councilmember Winslow. Boone. Oh. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you very much. So it's been properly moved and seconded to adopt the agenda. Please open that vote. This is an electronic vote for those who can.
Can you repeat the seconder for us? I missed that.
Mr. Shook.
Thank you. The vote is open.
Thank you. Ms. Boone, how do you vote? Yes. Thank you. Ms. Lowe, how do you vote? In favor. Thank you.
The vote is closed. 7 yeas.
All right. The agenda is adopted. Next, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes.
So moved, Shook.
Thank you.
Second, Hillis.
All right, Mr. Hillis, thank you. If there's no objection, please let's open the vote for the approval of the minutes. Ms. Boone, how do you vote? Yes. Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? In favor.
The vote is closed. It's 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. The minutes are approved. Next, public comment, please.
My name is Deborah Watson, and I've lived in Atlanta my entire life, and I love my hometown. What I don't like and agree with is the way that solid waste fees are calculated. Solid waste fee services can and should be accounted for on a cost basis. No one should have to pay for services they do not receive. Services related to garbage, yard waste, recycling, and bulk trash should be totaled and separated from other services provided by the Department of Solid Waste. These costs should then be divided between the number of households that actually receive those waste removal services. The balance of the expenditures or costs for other services that cannot be attributed to garbage, yard waste, recycling, and bulk trash could then be divided amongst all the properties throughout the city, including single-family residences that receive those other services, as well as commercial buildings, multifamily properties, and communities that don't receive any solid waste collection services. I would challenge each member of the committee to demand such a simple cost analysis before you can determine a fair and equitable fee schedule. Currently, street frontage and arbitrary amounts are used to calculate fees and have no bearing on the services received or the cost of those services. Without being able to tie these services back to costs, they appear to be more like a tax than a fee. Again, please reconsider this method of calculating solid waste fees, and let's find a fair and equitable calculation. Thank you.
Greetings to you, council members and staff, and special greetings to you, citizens of Atlanta, who have tuned in to take note of what our council members are doing and how comments from the public are being treated. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. The city has failed in its obligations to People TV Board of Directors and to the citizens of Atlanta. I speak specifically about the 4 People TV Board slots allocated to the City Council and the 3 People TV Board slots allocated to the Executive Branch. These all need to be filled, and filled with community-conscious grassroots citizens who believe in public television and who can help ensure that notices of People TV Board meetings get out to the public in accordance with the Georgia Open Meetings Act. While you're seeing to it that these vacant slots are filled, People TV can once again help to bring attention to the anti-people antics of the so-called leaders of Neighborhood Planning Unit R by revitalizing projects like ATAB Rundown and projects like NCU on TV. The public needs to know how and why it is that 1% of the NPUR population of 20,000 is being allowed to represent all of the rest of the 20,000 residents, but now vacationing NPUR 9, Antonita Robinson, Paulette Clare, Ricardo Jacobs, Renette L. Scott, Alfred White, Allison Hathaway, Sherry Williams, and the other NPUR 9 cohorts, enablers, and their supporters.
Hi, this is Charlotte Day. I'm calling on behalf of myself and my husband, Frank Smith. We reside at 2818 Rumson Court, Atlanta 30305. We are calling to record our comments on the solid waste fees. We are in favor of and politely request that the council consider having a public hearing on the matter, and we think the fees that are suggested that are illegal, and at a minimum, a rate study should be done, which has not been done at this point in time. We are opposed to those fees and hope the City Council will consider our comments in this regard. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Melanie Walker, and I've owned a unit at Peachtree Battle Condominium for 23 years now, and I am very, very concerned about the Public Works Department and the lack of communications in regards to the solid waste services, which no condominium association requires services for solid waste pickup from the city, and yet we are paying hundreds of dollars a year per unit for this so-called service, but it's not a service if we're paying and we're not getting something in return. It's merely a tax that is being imposed on condominium homeowners in the city of Atlanta, and I just think this is absolutely atrocious with the kind of taxes that we already pay for the units. Like I said, I've seen a lot of change in the last 23 years, and I can't say that it is for the betterment of the civilians that live in the city limits of Atlanta, but I would really like this to be re-examined and distributed among the people of Atlanta, the businesses and the homeowners that live here, rather than taking it from the condominium owners and not providing a service. If you have any questions, please contact me, 404-365-1027. Bye-bye.
Yes, this is Don Travis. I own 3 condominium units in the city of Atlanta, and I've owned them for 20 years. I'm very concerned about the tax, the sewer tax, of solid waste tax for several $100s, and it continues on year after year, and we are getting zero for our services. We're being taxed when we have contracted privately for solid waste pickup. So we are getting absolutely zero services, and we are not getting, as far as our taxes too. I mean, the street racing and just the quality of life in Buckhead has gone down significantly, and I think everybody can agree to that. We can't even get sleep at night. But anyway, let's go and just say that there is absolutely no benefit to the condominiums for being taxed for a service that we do not receive. And it needs to be seized and re-examined immediately and eliminated. And I hope you feel free to give me a call at 404-936-7930. But hope that this is done. Bye.
Hello, my name is Karen Spinn, and I am a homeowner of a condo in the city of Atlanta, and I am privileged to address the City Council and Utilities Committee with my comments on the fees for multifamily solid waste, as well as the frontage fees that have been in place now for the past 2 years, which are, my understanding, are open for discussion tomorrow at your meeting. My comments are that these fees are discriminatory against the multifamily dwellings, as we already pay for our own private waste removal. So they're discriminatory, and also that the frontage fees are not distributed equitably for the information that I've been privy to in the public domain. And additionally, I hope that the council does reconsider repealing these fees and instituting a public hearing to set the stage for the repeal of them. I look forward to the next step. Thank you so much for your consideration. Have a good night and a good meeting tomorrow.
Hi, this is Robin Lobach, and I was calling about the solid waste fee that we started having greatly expanded as of last year. I don't exactly understand how it would be a particularly legal fee to charge multi-unit condominiums as we don't get our city trash pickup or recycling or really much in the way of street maintenance from the city. That wasn't a big deal. It was a couple bucks, but I know it almost went up to $400 last year before they renegotiated it down to like 100 and such. And that doesn't sound like a fee. That sounds like a tax. So I'm just a little concerned about how this is being allocated. If it's actually going to what we claim it's or we think it's going to. It just, something about this doesn't seem right. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sharon Williams, and I am a condo owner in Midtown. I'm calling again to voice a complaint about the illegal and unfair taxes being imposed on multifamily dwellings, small businesses, and even churches under the title of solid waste fees. In reality, they are taxes imposed on a specific segment of city taxpayers for services not received. You, as a member of City Council, voted for this, and you can do the proper thing and rescind it now before more taxes are demanded of us for this. This has nothing to do with the class action suit against the past illegal collections of over $28 million a year. The Department of Public Works postponed rate study is a farce, wasting even more time and money. Please do the right thing and correct this illegal act. Thank you. Okay. I am through with solid waste until January.
I am calling about the city utilities meeting. My name is Joseph Balaban, and I am calling to request a hearing about the solid waste fees which are being charged to multifamily dwellings and condominiums. This is a fee that is being charged to us for services that are not being provided. It's presented as a tax, and these services should be funded out of the general fund and should not be taxed to the condo and multifamily dwelling owners. Private homes are charged much less. They get services. We do not get any services, yet we are taxed for these services, and this tax should be abolished.
This is Jack Siebert. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I've lived in Atlanta since 1986 and lived in a high-rise condo since 1992. I'm appalled that the City Council is charging us a solid waste fee for services the City Council knows they do not perform. The city does not perform it, and we have to have contracts to have our solid waste picked up, which we do in our condo. As a representative of Colony House at Colony Square, I am appalled that you will continue to let this fee be charged to us. Please stop this fee. It's illegal. Thank you. Goodbye.
That concludes the public comment.
All right. Thank you very much. I don't see any colleagues who wanted to react to what we just heard. I do know that Justin Johnson, Deputy COO, is on the line to respond or to react to what we've heard. So if we can open up the line. I do see one member is asked to speak. Can you see who that is, please, Mr. Evans?
Councilmember Shook has indicated that he would like to speak.
All right, Mr. Shook, please go ahead.
Okay, sort of deja vu all over again. It's good that Mr. Johnson's here so we can get an update on the eternally awaited rate study. I'm happy to repeat what was said to the callers who called in last time. We are awaiting a rate study. Fees, I'm quite sure, as a result of that, well, I strongly expect will get modified or adjusted, and that will require a public hearing. And not to dwell on it too much here, I look forward to try to contact people who were nice enough to leave a callback number. But the vote to adopt this was a split vote, and
Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, this is Justin Johnson, Deputy Chief Operating Officer and Interim Commissioner for the Department of Public Works. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So thank you for the opportunity to speak. But very briefly, as you all know, this matter has been and will continue to be discussed during executive session. We are moving forward with the solid waste rate study, and to council membership's point, a portion of any rate adjustments does require public comment, so public will have an opportunity to chime in and offer feedback and thought at the appropriate time. But with respect to where we are in the process, those details certainly will be a matter of discussion during executive session. And I'm not sure if whether or not someone from the law department wanted to offer any additional insights or thoughts or anything along those lines, but that's what I did want to make sure I am able to convey to this body and to the public so that they are aware. However, we are steadfast moving along with the process.
Okay. I think the important thing is for the public to know that we are still in the process of determining where we're going to be with this. And so the rate study is not ready yet. There have been some COVID-related delays, I understand. So thank you for that update. I don't know if any member wants to ask any questions specifically of the law department, but I wanted the public to know that this is in process, that we are concerned, and that we'll be coming back to them once we have the study. So anybody else? Colleagues? All right. Thank you very much for making yourself available, and to be continued once we have more information.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right. Next, moving to the consent agenda, Section G. Mr. Evans, please.
Item number 1, 20-01785. An ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to execute a preliminary engineering agreement with the State of Georgia Department of Transportation on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management for engineering design costs associated with utility relocations that conflict with the proposed project number listed. State Route 400 Express Lane expansion in Fulton County, and to enable the Department of Watershed Management to be reimbursed in an amount not to exceed $646,933.00, authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to anticipate and appropriate funding to reimburse the Department of Watershed Management in an amount not to exceed $646,933.00 and for other purposes. Item number 2, 20-01786. An ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into Amendment number 2 for the FC number listed server management, maintenance, and backups with Sawatech Services, Inc. on behalf of the Department of Public Works to extend the term of the agreement on a month-to-month basis in accordance with Section 2-1163, subsection C of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances for a period of up to 6 months beginning February 8th, 2021 through August 7th, 2021 in an amount not to exceed $149,940.00. All contracted work to be charged to and paid from the fund department, organization, and account numbers listed and for other purposes. Item number 3, 20-01787. An ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2021 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension Fund budget in the amount not to exceed $2 million and 0 cents to transfer funds from the Watershed Reserve for appropriations for additional funding and for the Watershed Vehicle and Heavy Equipment Replacement Program and for other purposes.
Okay. Does that conclude the first read?
Yes, it does.
All right. Let's move on to Section 8 then. Regular agenda.
Item number 4, 20-R4699. A resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute an agreement for IFBC 1200444, Entrenchment Creek Water Reclamation Center decommissioning and South River Water Reclamation Center primary clarifiers with PC Lewis, a joint venture on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management for a term of 912 days for substantial completion and 1,032 days for final completion in an amount not to exceed $53,977,000.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department, organization, and account numbers listed and for other purposes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Porcaro, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, council members. This is Deputy Commissioner Rob Porcaro, Department of Watershed Management. Am I coming? Can you hear me clearly? Yes, thank you. This legislation is to recommend the awards of the Entrenchment Creek WRC decommissioning and South River WRC primary clarifiers project to PC Lewis joint venture in the amount of $53,977,000. The stated amount includes the base bid amount of $51,995,000 and the addition of various alternates recommended by the evaluation committee. Approval of this legislation will enhance the treatment of wastewater at the South River WRC and address issues raised by EPD consent order EPD WP 8602 that is intended to address various National Pollution Discharge Elimination System permit compliance concerns. We received 4 bids from joint ventures. The Department of Procurement deemed that 3 bids were responsive. We recommended that the contract be awarded to the most responsive and responsible bidder, PC Lewis. Each of the JV partners has worked for the city before, and there have been no performance issues of concern in the past. PC has been involved with the water supply program since 2015, and that contract should be substantially completed by next month. Lewis Contracting, the other joint venture partner, has worked on various contracts for the city. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
All right, colleagues, the iPro report is attached in the handouts that you have to get through looking at your emails through Outlook. I have been bumped off of the system, so if there's any member who has any questions, please speak up. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Shook moves approval.
Okay. I'll second. If there's no further discussion, please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Ms. Boone, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you.
The vote is closed and it's 7 yeas.
Thank you. That's unanimous. That is approved. Next item, please.
Item number 5, 20R4700. A resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute an agreement for the contract number listed, Upper Proctor Creek Capacity Relief Project in Historic Vine City Phase B, with Reeves Young Anderson JV, a joint venture of Reeves Young LLC and Anderson Grading and Pipeline LLC, on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management for a term of 540 days and an amount not to exceed $12,075,030.03. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department, organization, and account number listed and for other purposes.
All right. Mr. Hill, are you on the line?
Good morning. Todd Hill with Department of Watershed Management. The purpose of this legislation is to award the bidder and adopt the legislation contract with Reeves Young Anderson Joint Venture as a responsive and responsible bidder for the Upper Parker Creek Capacity Relief Project, Phase B and C. The proposed work in Phases B and C will take place predominantly in the city's right-of-way and will also include completion of soil remediation for work within the undeveloped portion of Cook Park under the city's corrective action plan with the Environmental Protection Division. Phase B and C of the Upper Park Creek Capacity Relief Project entails separating the combined sewer system to route stormwater down to the Cook Park Capacity Relief Pond, currently being finalized. The pond was designed to manage approximately 150 acres of stormwater runoff in the Vine City neighborhood, including parts of the Georgia World Congress Center. And this will provide the maximum area for the capacity relief pond to manage our stormwater and provide capacity relief. Our budget for this in the CIP was $14,412,000, and the bid we received was the $12,075,030, and it's a 16% less than our estimated budget for the project. With this complete, all the capacity relief work for this area will be complete that the Cook Park Capacity Relief Pond was going to provide. And we will have also met the requirements of the corrective action plan as required by Georgia's Environmental Protection Division. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Colleagues, any questions? The difference between the four, I have somebody who's ready to speak. Ms. Evans, who?
Councilmember Shook.
Yes, sir. Please, Mr. Shook.
Good, thank you. I'm sorry if I missed it, but there were 5 bidders. Is that correct, or is it were all deemed responsive?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'll move approval if there's no other questions.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Hillis.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. I just wanted to ask Mr. Hill if there was any concern relative to the difference between, about a $2 million differential between what the department projected and how the bid came in?
No, ma'am, there's no concern. We're very pleased with that. There was adequate competition for this project, as well as I believe our team that negotiated this contract worked very hard to make sure that we got the best benefit for the cost.
Awesome. All right, thank you. If there are no other questions, if any other board member, I still see a board member ready to speak. Is that Mr. Shook still, Mr. Evans?
Yes, it is still Mr. Shook.
Okay.
Sorry. Never mind.
No problem. If there's no other unreadiness, let's open the vote, please.
The vote is open.
Boone? Thank you. Ms. Boone, how do you vote? Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Ms. Boone, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
The vote is closed. It's 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. That stands approved. It's unanimous. Next item, please.
Item number 6, 20R4701. A resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute an agreement for the contract number listed, Upper Proctor Creek Capacity Relief Project in Historic Vine City, Phase C, with Reeves Young Anderson JV, a joint venture of Reeves Young LLC and Anderson Grading and Pipeline LLC on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management for a term of 450 days and an amount not to exceed $7,297,329 $21.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account numbers listed and for other purposes.
All right, Mr. Hill.
Good morning, Todd Hill. Councilmember Archibong. I made a mistake in my previous presentation, and the presentation I gave was for this Reeves-Young presentation. It's the same. It's the same.
Oh, yes.
My presentation's the same for that one.
So that leads to a question around capacity. And is that something that gets checked, or is it more, okay, here's the bid package, here's the most responsive bidder, and then here's another bid package, and then the most responsive bidder? Where in between that do you evaluate capacity?
The capacity for the system was considered during our design process. And for the whole...
No. I'm of the awardee.
For the awardee, that's decided in the procurement process based on their financial disclosures that are provided.
So if you get approved for one, that gets factored into whether or not you can also be approved for a second one. In other words.
Yes, ma'am. And when I gave my discussion, I discussed both B and C on that. And so I should have made that very clear when I first started talking. I apologize for that.
And really, we should have taken the papers together, which might have been an option. But anyway, thank you for that clarification. That satisfies my questions. Colleagues, any questions? Have someone ready to speak? Who is that, Mr. Evans?
Councilmember Shook has indicated he would like to speak.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Hill, same question. Were there 6 bidders, and were they all responsive?
We'd have to verify on that one. I believe so, but I can verify and let you know.
Well, based upon the iPro, there were 6, but 3 were responsive. Astra, Lewis, UPC, Garney Companies, Inc., and then Reeves Young / Anderson. And on the prior paper, there are also 6, but only Garney Company, Inc. and Reeves Young were considered responsive.
Okay, that's good to know. That, the good news is I know we're all relieved to see a lot of bidders showing up for this work. And although several were tossed for being non-responsive, it's nice that a majority, made it through, because that has not always been the case in years past. So it does seem as though, we're making some good progress here for the ratepayers. Thank you. I'll move approval.
Thank you. Have a second, please.
Winslow, second.
Thank you very much, Ms. Winslow and Mr. Shook. All very good points. Any other discussion? If not, we're ready to open the vote.
The vote is open.
All right, Ms. Boone, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
The vote is closed and it's 7 yeas.
All right, that stands approved. Unanimous. Mr. Evans, any other papers coming before the committee this morning?
No, Madam Chair. That is the completion of the agenda.
All right. That ends our legislative items. I want you to be thinking about for next year our goals, and we'll also need to select the all-important vice chair. Honored to be continuing to serve as the chair for the 2021 year. And so I'll be thinking about that over the break. This will be our last meeting for 2021. We'll resume for 2020, and we will resume in 2021. Colleagues, any questions or comments for the good of the body?
Madam Chair, this is Councilmember Boone. Just want to thank you so much for your diligence in working with us in this capacity. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, you've done a very good job, Madam Chair, Councilmember Winslow. So kudos to you, for all the hard work, because it takes a lot of hard work being chairperson of a committee. It's the extra things that you have to do. You have to make sure everybody's on point, and you've done a good job. And just want to also thank the staff for what they did. And it takes a lot to pull all of these people together and have them, come in a timely manner to make their presentations and speak to us. So I want to acknowledge the staff as well, and just wish everybody Merry Christmas.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you. And all of your sentiments, I appreciate working with you. Teamwork is important. And to your point, Ms. Winslow, I want to thank our staff in this COVID environment. We've been able to keep the car on the road, so to speak. And so it took a lot of effort. And so anything that looks easy is because we had great staff supporting. So thanks, everybody, and I wish you happy holidays. All right, so we have a motion to adjourn, I take it. So I make that motion. And without objection, we are now adjourned. Thanks very much, colleagues.
Thank you.